Hey friends, Sarah here with Boho Stitchery. Today's Tuesday. You know what that means. Tutorial Tuesday.
Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Sarah. Thanks for joining me. So today for Tutorial Tuesday, I have a really fun, exciting project tutorial. And that's right, you heard me right, guys. We're going to be making these really cute mini crocheted pumpkins, guys. I'm so excited. So I'm not going to really be demonstrating any stitches because I'm using the stitch that I demonstrated last week for Tutorial Tuesday, which I called the slipped rib stitch, I believe. So if you didn't watch that video, you will need to go back and watch last week's Tutorial Tuesday video so you'll know how to do the stitch for this. This is the body of our pumpkin. It's really, really easy. For these mini ones, I did a foundation chain of 16 chains. And then you'll have your first row is kind of a prep row, so to speak. You'll want to do a half double crochet in the second chain from your hook and in each stitch across, and you'll end up with 15 stitches. But like I said, other than that, I repeated that pattern, which like I said, go back and watch last week's video because I'm not going to jump into that and redo that. But you'll want to work that pattern for 17 rows. So chain 16, half double in the second chain all the way across, or 16 rather, and then you will end up with 15 half double crochets and work your pattern for 17 rows. But I just wanted to show you guys how to seam this, stuff this, so you can get this really cute pattern and use that for your fall decor. So let's go ahead and jump in and get started. For this, you are going to need a crochet hook and some yarn, obviously, but to assemble your pumpkin, you're going to need some scissors, a yarn needle, and some stuffing. I just used the polyester fiber fill, I think is what it's called. I got a big, huge box of it at Joann's, so it'll probably take me a year to get through that. But let's go ahead and jump in and get started seaming. Now, I will say you want to leave a relatively long tail on your first row when you're chaining your stitches. You want to leave a little bit of a tail because you're going to need to use that later. And for your last row when you cast off, you are going to want to leave an extra long tail. I'd say probably maybe 2 or 3 feet long, just to give yourself some extra room because you're going to need this to make this. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to take my foundation row tail here and we're going to, whoops, that's not what I wanted. We're going to take our long tail here, and to join our edges you can do a couple of things. You can thread it on your tapestry needle and just do a whip stitch to join, but I think what I like to do mostly because it keeps that same pretty design is I'm going to use my crochet hook to join it up the sides here. So what I like to do is I will fold it so that the pretty side's out. So you have your chain stitches here from your slip stitch. Kind of looks like knitting. You want that facing out because that's the pretty side. Okay, so we are going to move this short tail aside and work with our long tail here. And what you want to do is you're just going to slip stitch these all the way up till it's joined at the top. But what I like to do is on this front piece here, so just try and move that out of the way the best you can. You are going to go under the back loop of the front piece. So just pop it through the back loop only. And then if you go underneath both chains of the back piece and slip stitch it, you're going to create that nice same design almost. It looks real similar to that. So again, back loop only on the front and underneath both loops on the back side. So you have 3 loops you're working into, and then just slip stitch through. So go ahead and continue that method all the way to the end, and I'll meet you guys back in just a moment. Okay guys, so I have slip stitched all the way up to the other side here. Whoops, I'm undoing some of my stitches here. And what we will do next, let me just fix this because I pulled on my tail and undid it. Well, see if I can get this all back on here. Okay, so once you've slip stitched all the way up to the top, I'm going to go ahead and just pop my excess yarn through that loop and pull it tight so it doesn't come undone. And as you can see, guys, this is almost identical to the pattern, so it looks like you're working with a tube now. So what I want to do is I am going to take my really super duper long tail here, thread it through my tapestry needle. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through and just weave in and out of our tube here. And I don't do every stitch. What I like to do is this kind of laddered stitch here. This is our half double crochet row. We're just going to go in and out, skipping over our flat smooth chain and going in and out of that laddered row. So all the way around, just kind of loose, not too tight. We're just weaving in and out till we get back to the beginning here. And then what you want to do is you want to draw it in like a drawstring. So just pull it really super duper tight here. And you can kind of put your fingers in here just to keep it straight. So it almost looks like a little tiny baby hat at this point. But what you're going to want to do is just kind of go back around, tighten this up as much as you can so it lays smooth almost. Whoops. And the eye of this needle is almost too big for this yarn. And if I hadn't mentioned before, I'm just using some 4-ply worsted weight yarn. You can do this in any weight of yarn, but of course that's going to alter the size of it, making it bigger or smaller. I would think this would look really cute with like a super chunky yarn and you'd have a bigger pumpkin. But we're just going to go ahead and finish weaving in and out of there, and I'm just going to call that good for the moment, but obviously you probably want to do yours a little bit tighter. And now we're just going to take a pinch of our stuffing. You don't want it too full, but you also don't want it too flat, so we're just going to kind of stuff it in there comfortably. I think that's probably good for now. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our tapestry needle and we're just going to pull it off of our long tail. And this is where that shorter tail comes in handy with your foundation row. So we're going to do similar to the same thing we did before at the bottom. We're going to go in and out. And like I said, I like to go through the half double crochet rows, which look like these little ladder bars here. But you can do it however you think looks best. So just in and out, in and out. Kind of a running seam, I guess, is what they call that. So we're going to do that. And now, instead of pulling it completely closed, now I will say you can pull it completely closed if you don't plan on putting any kind of stem of any kind in there. Like with this one, I leave them open just a little bit so I can stick a cinnamon stick in there, or you can go out in the yard and just gather up some twigs and bundle them up with a string and stick them in there. That would look cute. But if you're not planning on putting a stem on it, just cinch it closed like you did the other side. And then we're going to go back here at the beginning and we're just going to tie a little bit of a knot. Not a super big knot, but I like to keep my thumb in there just to keep it open a little bit. And just do a little bit of a knot, not so you can see it, but just enough to keep it secure. And then you're going to hide your ends in here, so you can just poke it through to bury that tail. Okay, I'm going to call that good. I'm just trying to get through this video quickly so it doesn't take too long. Because who wants to sit and watch a long tutorial, right? And then what we're going to do is go back to that long tail that we did when we seamed up the bottom, thread that through, and here's where we start to build the shape of the pumpkin. As you can see, it's kind of puckered in a little bit, you know, in a few places to make it look more like a pumpkin. So to do that, you're going to go through the bottom, just poke it through, and up through the middle here where your stuffing is. And then what I like to do is just kind of weave again through the half double crochet row, which looks like these little ladder bars. You're going to thread it through towards the bottom, just weaving it in as you go. weaving it in. And once you have it down that first row, if you pull it, you can see where it kind of cinches it up. Now it'll look more noticeable once we get a few more rows done. But we're going to go pop it through the center again and back up the center. And I'm going to find my next row of half double crochets and weave it in. So that is how you do it, guys. You just keep going in, and then once you get to the bottom, you stick it through the middle, pop it up. And this, honestly, this is probably what takes the longest to make these pumpkins. It's not the crocheting of the piece that you can get done in like 10 minutes. But to continue, you'll just keep doing that process to pucker up your pumpkins and make them look a little more pumpkin-like. But that's it, guys. I appreciate you guys stopping by. I hope you found this video fun and helpful, and I can't wait to see the pumpkins that you guys come up with. You guys can always tag me in your photos on Facebook and Instagram. You can find me under boho_stitchery. And of course, I'm here on YouTube every week, and you can find me on TikTok as well at boho_stitchery. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.